What was your thinking? Because we keep reminding people. I mean, it wasn't just locally that people thought this team would be a contender. People nationally, people everywhere thought this was a real contender. What was your prediction for this team before the season started?
I thought they'd be the best team in the division.
Right.
They'd be the best team in the division. So it's confusing for sure. Look, I anticipated that they would pitch at a level where they would have elite starting pitching. I mean, I didn't think that the bullpen would be. I mean, it's amazing. They have a bullpen that's almost thrown up an ERA close to 7, and that's with Doolittle.
Right.
I mean, Doolittle giving them 20-some-odd innings of brilliant work. I mean, without that, it would be over 7. I don't think you could quite have anticipated that or the injuries. The one component that ties into pitching, that's the whole run prevention deal, but their defense stinks. I mean, they're in terms of defensive runs saved, they've been most of the year 27, 28, 29th in DRS, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
So in today's game, when you look at the good teams, like as of check the other night, the top 2 teams in defensive run saved this year were the Dodgers and the Astros, and they're probably the 2 best teams.
Makes sense.
Do you have a problem with the way Rizzo constructed the roster?
Man, I don't think so. Not in any. I don't think there's any fatal mistake. I mean, again, there's injuries that are. I don't know what you do about it when you have guys, sustain these injuries, but they need Zimmerman to be on the field. They need, Turner to be on the field. He just got back. I thought that they would have a decent offense. I didn't think it would be unbelievable, but I thought it would be pretty good. I certainly expected Soto to regress a little bit, and I think that they'll still score a decent amount. But to me, when I think about it, if they were going to win a division, they were going to need, Scherzer and Strasburg especially to be monsters,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It just seems like everything that can go wrong is going wrong now. Last night, Max pitches great for 6 pitches. All right, you got to go to Ross. Ross gets the guy out. Grace comes in, gets a guy out. All right, now you're in the 8th. You still have a 1-run lead. Barrett Claw hits, allows that double that should have been caught. Soto probably should have caught it, but then Doolittle has to come in with 2 guys on, hits a guy. All right,
Yeah.
Doolittle hits Gomez, and then he gives up the double. It just seems like everything right now that can go wrong will go wrong. And today they play at 12 with Strasburg on the mound, but based on the way they played, they'll probably lose.
Yeah, it's been weird. I just we were there Sunday, and yeah, there's just kind of a weird vibe around it. It doesn't feel good, and it's just one of those weird things, man. It's when you're gonna look back on this team, this group that couldn't get out of the first round. It's a bummer. It's surprising. I'll also say, there's a part of it that's a little bit unlucky. That's just the way. If you sit there and parse some of those division series, they most certainly could have moved on. It's this year's team, though. I don't feel good about digging out. I thought that the NL East was going to be 3 to 4 teams beating on each other for it, and now I think it's going to be 2.
Yeah, looks that way.
Joined by Jon Sciambi, play-by-play voice on ESPN. What are your impressions of Davey Martinez?
Yeah, I think fine. When I get asked a manager question for the Nationals, it's impossible for me to not think of how the Nationals view the manager in the macro. They just don't value the position, and they don't pay, and I don't think that they should have let Dusty go to begin with, and that has nothing to do with Davey. I think Davey's been fine, man. But they don't value it, and I'm not a humongous the manager is. I think the GM is more procuring the talent is more important than the talent utilization. So I think the GM position is more important, but I don't think they have a manager problem, but they have created this culture where, man, as an organization, they've made it really clear that they do not value the manager.
What happens today and going forward? They play the Marlins this weekend at home. I know the Marlins have been hot, but you got to beat the Marlins. So, and they already lost.
That's exactly right, Bish. Like, if you sit there and look at this division, I talk to people with the Braves and the Phillies. Like, you're going to beat the Marlins' ass. Like,
right.
You're going to win 14 games against the Marlins. You want to win the division? There are free wins there. Like, I know that they play better, but like, you have to beat their butts for sure.
Yeah.